Good morning, all of you. In today's session, we are going to start with the 10th standard chemistry and physics. Unit 9, electrical current. Series number 14 is going to be discussed. In earlier sessions, we completed what is meant by electrical current, how it can be measured, and what is the difference between electrical current and potential difference, and what are the devices used for electrical current and potential difference measurement, Ohm's law, and its subsequent daily life applications, electrical resistance, and what are the influencing factors for that one, and even how can we connect bulb as well as conducting materials in the series and parallel conditions in order to construct the electrical circuit. All these topics were discussed in the earlier session, and in addition to all these, unit number 1 to 8, entire detailed explanation available on the channel called World of Competitive Chemistry. Now we entered into series number 14. Let us see what are the topics which are going to discuss in this session. Now, Kirchhoff laws are going to be discussed here. This is a kind of scientific perception, and Kirchhoff presented two laws with respect to this electrical current. Though method discussed in the previous sections replacing series and parallel combination. As already we know, series connection of all the conducting material will raise the potential difference, and the parallel connection will lower the potential difference which is generated, and even strength of the current is also lowered by this parallel connection. So here, when such a kind of arrangement is possible, like a series and a parallel combination of resistors and their equivalent resistance, are very useful for simplifying many combinations. By using such a kind of arrangement, how the extent of efficiency will be varied with respect to strength of the current and the potential difference. By using this, we can arrange all these conducting materials in a circuit in order to frame the various resistor devices. They are not sufficient for the analysis of many simple circuits, and more than one can be used in a battery too. So in this way, in order to explain this kind of complicated and extensive applications of these electrical circuits, here Kirchhoff laws were presented here. Now, in accordance with the Kirchhoff, there are two simple rules were framed, and most probably they are applicable for direct current circuit containing batteries and resistors connected in any way. Right? So here DC current, for this kind of condition in the circuit, we are going to extend these Kirchhoff laws, and mostly these are categorized into two subcategories. Let us see. As mentioned in the figure, we have seen that current divided at P, and the current drawn from the battery is equal to sum of the current through the resistors. P is called the junction. The central part, whichever present here, is denoted as a junction point, and that is P. The junction is a point where three or more conducting wires are going to be meet, right? Here you can find a point where all the conducting wires are going to be connected, and this is denoted with the junction point, and where it is the symbolized as P. Now, here the very important parameter of this junction law. Junction law denotes what? Where all the conducting wires are going to be combined, that is said to be a junction law. In accordance with this, any junction point the circuit where the current can divide sum of the current into a junction must equals to sum of the current leaving the junction. So here that is the main principle of junction law. Here you can clearly observe some arrows are inclined towards the junction, some are away from the junction. What are inclined towards the junction? I2, I3, I5, which are inclined towards the junction point, and the remaining three are moving away from the junction point. That's the reason why junction law is given by the empirical formula I1, I4, I6 is equal to I5, I2 and I3. Here the arrows which are inclined towards the junction like I1, I6 and I4, I1, I6, I4 is equal to I2, I3 and I5. So whatever current gathered towards the junction exactly is equal to current which is dispersing from the junction. That is called the junction law, right? So here it is clearly mentioned, any junction point the circuit where the current can divide, the sum of the current into the junction is equal to sum of the current leaving the junction. The extent of current, for example, so I1, I2, I3 means what? This is the strength of current, right? That, let us assume 5 volts of current is coming towards the junction. Then according to junction law, what should be the current which is leaving from the junction, which is moving away from the junction? Again, it should be 5 amperes only. So that is simply represented as a junction law. Junction law denotes what? The extent of current which is going to be joined at the point of junction exactly is equal to which is going to disperse away from the junction. That is called the junction law. And here it is given by I1, I4, I6 is equal to I5, I2, I3. So moving towards the junction is equal to away from the junction. Very simple. And the second law is called a loop law. The algebraic sum of the increasing or decreasing in the potential difference across the various components of the circuit closed circuit loop must be 0. Let us repeat one more time. Algebraic sum of increasing or decreasing the potential difference. How extent the potential difference is changing across the various components in the closed circuit must be 0. So change in the potential must be 0. That is taken as the constant value. This law is based on the conservation of energy. That means neither energy will be lost nor gained. That is called a conservation of energy. So already we know that energy neither be lost nor be created, but can be converted into one form to another form. That is the thermodynamic law. That is implemented here too in the Kirchhoff's law, Loop's law. Energy conservation, where potential difference across the components can be taken as a 0. That is called a Loop's law. Right. Let us imagine the circuit loop. The potential difference between the 2 points in the beginning of loop has a certain value. So imagine the circuit loop. Circuit loop was taken and the potential difference between the 2 points. We are taking positive and negative terminal, and the beginning of loop has a certain value. So one loop has a certain value. For example, as we move around the circuit loop and measure the potential difference across each point in the loop, potential difference may decrease or increase depending on the nature of the element, like resistor or the battery. Here one of the loop was taken. So this is a kind of loop, for example, whose the potential difference we are going to measure. And the increase and decrease in the potential difference of this loop purely depends upon the nature of material which we are taking. Either it may be resistor or maybe battery. Resistor means there is a opposition of current flow is possible, whereas battery is used to supply the power because it is the source of power. Now, but when we have the completely traversed the circuit loop and arrive back at the R starting point, net change in the potential difference must be 0. So as we are moving in a loop, as we are moving in the circular loop, what happened? There will be a change in potential. You can clearly observe. But when we are reaching again the starting point from where we started, so that will become a circuit, right? That will become a sphere. So ultimate potential difference, the entire potential difference will become 0. Thus, the algebraic sum of change in the potential difference is equal to 0. That is called a loop law. Some extent that will be decreased, equal extent that will be gained also, because there is a conservation of energy, neither be lost nor be gained. That's the reason why potential difference in the entire circuit, entire loop will be taken as a 0. In some region that may be raised, in some region that may be lowered. But ultimately, when we see the entire sphere, the change in the potential difference will be taken as a 0. This is denoted as a Loop's law. Now, how could the sign convention can be taken? So here sign convention, can we give a negative sign or a positive sign? Then let us see what are the conditions in order to assign the sign conditions. EMF of the battery is taken as negative when we are moving from positive terminal to negative terminal across the battery. This is a kind of system where circuit was made, and here is the battery, and the battery is connected with the conducting material with the two ends. One is positive end and the other is negative end. If the potential difference, that means electron density is very high, denoted with negative. Lower electron density is denoted with the positive sign, right? Now, how we are moving? We are moving from positive terminal to negative. So positive terminal to negative terminal, this kind of rotation. What kind of rotation it is? Counterclockwise rotation. This is called anti-clockwise rotation. If this is a condition through the battery, if you are moving from positive to negative terminal, that EMF is taken as whatever EMF potential difference which is created by this kind of battery is taken as a negative. So this is a condition 1. Now we are moving in an opposite manner. That means a reciprocal of reverse, reciprocal of the earlier one. So what we are moving from negative terminal to a positive terminal. This is called as clockwise movement. Clockwise rotation is possible. While moving from high density to low density, always this is called a spontaneous one. Always high potential to low potential will be the spontaneous change. Then only that tendency to attain the equilibrium is possible. Ultimately, there will be a positive EMF will be assigned for this kind of notation. If you are moving from positive to negative, that is called a counterclockwise. Counterclockwise will give negative EMF, and the clockwise movement leads to a positive EMF formation is possible. Now, how can the sign convention can be taken? This is another condition. Sign convention, positive or negative, assigned mainly depends upon the electrical current, direction of electrical current. In what way electrical current is moving, based on that we can assign either positive or negative. Just now we saw positive terminal to negative terminal, that is a negative sign, and negative to positive, that is a positive sign, right? So in that manner, the sign convention for the electrical current direction, that purely direction will drive whether it may be positive or negative. The direction of electrical current to be observed to take the sign of the potential of the resistor. In what way electrical current is moving, based on that only here sign convention is provided to this one. How could the sign convention can be taken in addition to that one? Here, a potential difference across the resistor is taken as a negative. Potential difference denoted as EMF of the cell itself. And we are moving from the direction of electrical current through the resistor. So when we are taken as a negative, when we move along the direction of electrical current. In what way electrical current is moving? In the same direction if we are moving. If we are moving in the same direction, then electromotive force is assigned as a negative. So don't get confused about anything. EMF of the battery taken as a negative, we are moving from positive terminal to negative terminal of the battery. So this is regarding the EMF, and we are moving from the positive to negative terminal of the battery. So this is a condition assigned for the battery. Now, the second condition is direction of electrical current. If electrical current is moving in particular direction, for example, it is moving in counterclockwise manner, we are also moving the direction electrical current observed to give the sign potential difference. So in the same direction, if we are moving, what happens? That potential difference can be taken as a negative sign. Potential difference or resistor taken as negative, moving along the direction of electrical current. If we are also moving in the counterclockwise manner, then we can assign the negative sign for the potential difference. Now, or vice versa can be taken for this one. Positive EMF is assigned when we are moving away. So opposite with respect to the electrical current. If electrical current is moving in counterclockwise and we are assigning the potential difference in the clockwise manner, that means opposite, then potential difference will be assigned as a positive one. EMF will be positive here. In this way, sign convention can be assigned. And this is a kind of representation where sign convention for the resistor is provided. Resistor is provided. Here, let us assume this is a kind of system. Two terminals of the battery are moving in this direction, for example, and this is a resistor and the strength of current is assigned as I. And here also we are moving in the same direction. So here battery and the resistor both are moving in a similar direction. Resistance and battery which are having same kind of motion, where a negative sign assigned and a negative sign assigned in both the cases. Whereas if battery convention is provided in the opposite direction when compared to the resistor is moving in a negative direction, but battery is moving in a positive direction, here the sign convention is provided as a positive and a positive for this one. So if both are aligned in the same direction, then sign convention for the EMF of the cell will be negative in both the cases. If both are in opposite direction, what happens here? Positive and positive EMF will be assigned for this one. Positive and positive will be assigned for this one. So this is about the sign convention. Now, we have some of the problems which are going to be solved based on these Kirchhoff laws. How many Kirchhoff laws we discussed? Two Kirchhoff laws are there. First Kirchhoff law is called a junction law, and the second is called a loop law. Junction law says that, so the amount of current which used to deposited at the central junction exactly is equal to amount of current which is dispersing from the center, right? So that is called a junction law. Then what is the loops law? Loop law says that the ultimate potential difference of the entire sphere, entire loop can be taken as a zero. Algebraic sum of the potential difference can be taken as a zero. That is called a Loop's law. Now, based on these two, we are going to solve some of the problems. Now, let us find example number 1. Find the resistance or potential difference from the given figure based on the Loop's law. So here, this is a kind of circuit which is made, and Loop's law is going to be applied here. A, B, C, D, E is a loop. A, B, C, D, E to A. So that will use to give a complete circuit, and a loop is formed. A, B, C, D, E, A. So this is called a loop. The potential difference in the battery is taken as minus V1. And the resistance are taken as R1. So here potential difference at the battery. This is the sign convention which is given for the battery. So where positive, negative terminals are present, that is the source of power, which is called a battery, whose potential is given as a V1. Now resistance is assigned as R1, and the potential difference is equal to I1 R1. Potential difference is equal to I1 R1. The resistance resultant potential difference in the circuit is equal to, so resultant potential difference means algebraic sum of all the potential difference is taken as minus V1 plus I1 R1, because we have to consider potential difference of this battery and the potential difference of this resistor too. That's why algebraic sum of these two are given as minus V1 plus I1 R1, because for this resistor R, whose the potential difference is given as I1 R1, right? So we have to take the sum of these two. Minus V1 extend exactly opposite with respect to I1 R1. For example, it is minus 5 volts, it will be plus 5 volts. Ultimately, it will become 0. 0 indicates what? Loop's law got verified, because Loop's law says that algebraic sum of the individual potentials are converted into 0. Ultimate algebraic sum of individual potentials are taken as 0. So this based on this Loop's law got verified. The extent of current discharged by the battery exactly is equal to extent of current gained by this resistor. That means voltage difference. Now example number 2 is going to be discussed. Find the resultant potential difference from the given figure based on the Loop's law. Again, we are going to apply the Loop's law. So here again we have a sphere. Loop kind of representation is provided. Let us apply Loop's law to the given circuit. This is a kind of circuit. At a battery V1, where is the battery? Here is the battery. So battery is the source of power where potential is given by as minus V1. So battery V1, and the potential difference is taken as a minus V1. For this, the potential difference value is assigned as minus V1. Now, the potential difference at V2, the potential difference is V2. Here is the V2. That is given as minus V2. So here, two batteries are connected here. Two batteries, in what manner they got connected? They got connected in a series manner. And one battery whose potential is given as minus V1. And the second one potential difference is given as minus V2. Now, potential difference of the resistance. Potential difference at a resistance R1. Where is R1? Here is the R1. At this R1, whose potential difference is given as IR1. Here the potential difference is the strength of current into resistance. That is called IR1. And another resistor R2 is there, right? At this R2, what is the potential difference? IR2. At this resistor, potential difference is IR2. And the resistor R3 is also there. Two batteries and three resistors are provided in the given diagram, right? So here batteries we got completed, minus V1 and minus V2 is the potential difference. Now resistors we are considering. R1 resistor potential difference is I into R1. R2 resistor potential difference is I into R2. R3 resistor, the value will be I into R3. This is very simple. Now, we have to go with the algebraic sum of all these. We have to combine all these topics. How can we? The complete, that means a total potential difference is equal to, total potential difference of the circuit is equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3 minus V1 minus V2. The extent of potential collected is equal to extent of potential dispersed. That ultimately becomes 0. If it is becoming 0, what is the conclusion? Loop's law got verified here, because if the value is a zero integer, now you can say Loop's law got verified. So this is also applicable. This circuit also applicable for this Loop's law. Let us move on to example number 3. Find the resultant potential difference from the figure based on the Loop's law. Again, we are going to apply Loop's law for this circuit. So here circuit was made with A, B, C, D, E, A loop. Here is the battery. Battery potential is given, and resistor 1, resistor 2. Two resistors are there, one battery is there in this circuit. Now let us apply Loop's law for this. Let us apply Loop's law in the given circuit. And the loop is made up of A, B, C, D, E, A. Potential difference of battery. So this is the first battery. Oh, sorry, one and only one battery is there, whose potential difference is given as minus V1. Negative sign convention is provided, right? Because the current is moving from positive terminal, right? If the direction of flow from positive terminal, EMF difference will be taken as negative. Just now we got this inference. This rule was discussed in this session only. So here from the positive terminal, the direction of flow is possible. That's why whose potential difference will be assigned with the negative sign convention. So it will be minus V1. Now, at this resistor R1, what will be the potential difference? I into R1. At this resistor R2, potential difference is taken as I into R2. Now, what we have to take? We have to take algebraic sum of all these potentials, right? So that is called a total potential difference. Total potential difference is equal to IR1 plus IR2 minus V1 minus V1 plus IR1 plus IR2. Ultimately, the value will become 0. For example, I would like to convert these signs into numerals. Let us assume this battery is producing 5 volts of current. Battery is producing 5 volts of current. The value will become minus 5. IR1 value will be 2.5 and IR2 value will be 2.5 volts. For example, I am giving the assumption. This formula now converted into numerals. Now what it will happen? 2.5 plus 2.5, it will become 5 volts. Minus 5 volts plus 5 volts. What will be the ultimate answer? It will become 0. Hence, Loop's law got verified. This is the conclusion for this example number 3. What we are taking? We are taking one battery. 2 resistors were arranged, and the condition from the battery positive terminal, the current is passing. That's the reason why potential difference assigned with the negative sign. And the resistors are 2, and whose potential difference is given as IR1 and IR2. Now, algebraic sum of all these is becoming 0, hence Loop's law got verified. So, example number 3 is also in accordance with Loop's law. Now, let us move on to example number 4. Find the resultant potential difference from the given figure based on the Loop's law. Let us apply the Loop's law to the given circuit. What's the circuit? So the circuit is provided, and here the loop will be A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So this is a kind of a circuit. A, B, C, D, E, F, A was taken, and the potential difference of here, how many batteries are there? Again, 2 batteries are provided. Minus V1 plus V2 are given, because in one battery, from the positive terminal current is passing, in another battery from the negative terminal current is passing, then one will be assigned with minus V1, second will be assigned with plus V2, right? So here, right? So this is the example number 4. Again, we are going to apply the Loops law for this circuit. First, let us see how many batteries are there and how many resistors are there. So here you can find the first battery, second battery, and here how many? R1, R2, R3, three resistors also there, right? So this is a kind of system. Here F, E, D, G, E, F loop, right? F, E, D, G, where is G? Here is the G, and H, here is the H, F. So this is the kind of, here you can clearly observe this is one loop, and A, B, C, D, E, F. This is another loop. So two loops are present in this. Now let us see here. So loop number 1 will be A, B, C, D, E, F, A. And the potential difference for this first loop can be taken as minus V1 plus V2. So here first loop we are taking, first loop positive terminal, the current is moving. So for this, it is taken as minus V1. Minus V1 will be given. In case of second one, here electricity is moving from this part, and plus V2 will be assigned for this. Now potential difference of the resistors. So for this resistors, what are the resistors? IR1, IR2 will be there. So IR1 and IR2 will be there. And here both are taken. I1, R1 minus I1, I2, R2 will be taken for this potential difference. The resultant potential difference for the loops. So this is the entire loop, right? So battery conventions are given, resistor conventions also provided. Now we have to take algebraic sum of two batteries and resistors also. For that purpose, we are taking minus V1 plus V2 plus I1 R1 minus I2 R2. The value will become 0. So if the value is becoming 0 in this entire loop, this will be verified. Loops law got verified for this loop number 1. So now let us move on to second loop. So here second condition is also there. A, F, E, D, C, B, A, F, A to F is there. A, F, E, D, A, F, E, D in this direction, C, B, A. CBA. So in this direction we are moving. So this is a second kind of representation. If you are moving in this direction, that is different, and the second condition is provided as a reverse direction. So in this manner, minus V2 plus V1, because vice versa, whatever values provided in the condition number 1, exactly inverted here, because we are changing the direction. Initially moving in right hand side, just we are changing into left hand side. What will happen? Plus sign will become minus, minus sign will become plus. Simply above terms can be reversed here, so that minus V1 will become plus V1, plus V2 will become minus V2, right? Now, and these signs should be interchanged. Minus I2 R2 plus I1 R1 can be taken, right? So here, after taking all these, what we have to apply? Loops law can be applied. For that purpose, potential difference is equal to, we have to add all these terms. Minus V2 plus V1 plus I2 R2 minus I1 R1. So this algebraic sum will become 0 again. So this is also applied for loops law. So just what we are doing in one direction, right hand side direction one loop considered, left hand side direction another loop considered. That is condition 1 and condition 2 got completed. Now apply condition number 3. In condition number 3, what we are applying? F, E, D, G, F, H, F. F, E, D, G, H, F. This loop is going to be considered. For this loop, the potential difference is given as a minus V2. The potential difference here, battery, only one battery is there. That's the reason why we have to assign only one voltage for this one, minus V2, because the electricity is passing away from this one. Potential difference of the resistor is given as I2, R2. So the sign will be I2, R2 will be assigned. And for this one, for this second resistors, what will be there? I2 plus I1 plus I2 is there. Sum of I1 plus I2 can be taken and it should be multiplied with R3. I1 plus I2 into R3. So this will be the potential difference for second resistor in this loop. Now we have to take algebraic sum of all these. In order to verify the Loops law, minus V2 plus I2 R2 plus I1 R3 plus I2 R3 can be taken. The overall value will become 0. So if it is becoming 0, now it indicates Loops law got verified. This circuit, for this third circuit, third loop, Loops law got verified because here we have only one battery, two resistors are there. We employed all these things and we got the ultimate value. Algebraic sum of potential difference will be taken as 0. So for this third loop also Loops law got verified. Now let us take vice versa, reverse of that one. From this we are moving in reverse direction. F, H, G, D, E, F. So in this manner, earlier we are moving in a right hand side, now we are moving in the left hand side. What will happen? Sign inversion is possible. Plus V2 will become, sorry, minus V2 will become plus V2. Now minus R3, because here sign inversion, because the direction entirely changed. Minus R3, I2 plus I3 minus I2 R2, entirely changed, and ultimately here also algebraic sum of the potential will become 0. Hence for this loop also potential difference is taken as 0. In all the conditions, Loops law got clearly verified. Now let us apply fifth possibility too. How can be possible? Let us see. We are starting from H. This is taken as a starting point here. H, G, C, HGC. So this entire system was taken into the consideration now. That means a total circuit was taken into the consideration. H, G, C, B, A, H. So this total sphere taken into the now onwards. Now till now what we did. So individual loops were taken. Now we are considering the big sphere. This entire big sphere taken into the consideration in the fifth condition. For that purpose, in this big sphere, we have only one battery because this was not considered. This is not taken into the consideration. So only one battery is there. And how many resistors? R1 resistor, R3 resistor only present. Remember, R1 and R3 resistor for this big sphere. Now, for this potential difference is taken as plus V1 because it is in the reverse manner, right? We are moving in this direction. That's why here potential difference for this battery is taken as V1. Now, let us apply for the resistors. How many resistors are there? R1 resistor, R3 resistor. For R3 resistor, it should be taken as minus R3 into I1 plus I2. And here the R1 resistor, the value will be minus I1 into R1. The algebraic sum of this entire loop, that is called a resultant potential difference of this loop, is given as plus V1 minus R3, I1 plus I2 minus I1 R1. So when we take all these sign conventions, the ultimate value will become 0. This is the another sphere or another loop which is provided in the example number 4. And even we have 6. How can we assign 6? Just reverse to that one. How can we take? From the A point, we are taking the sphere from the A point. A, C, G, H, A. So from this A point onwards, we are moving in this right hand side direction. If you are moving in this direction, here potential, how many batteries are there? Let us identify first. Only one battery is there, two resistors are there, and the battery voltage is given as minus V1. Resistor R1, potential difference is given as I1 plus R1, and the resistor R2, R3 is given as R3 into I1 plus I2 was taken. So this is for the resistors. Now algebraic sum again it will become 0. Hence Loops law got verified for this example also. So this is the condition number 6 in example number 4. So by this, how many loops we framed? Total 6 loops are possible for the circuit. Let us see how it is possible. A, B, C, D, E, F, A. This is one loop. Another A, F, E, D, C, B, A. This is second loop. Third, F, E, D, G, H, F. This is third loop. A fourth loop will be F, H, G, D, E, F. Fourth loop. Fifth loop, H, G, D, C, B, A, H. That is fifth. Sixth loop, A, B, C, D, H, G, H, A. So this is the sixth loop. So we got derivations for individual loops, and in each and every case, Loop's law got clearly verified. And we entered into example number 5. Find the resultant potential difference from the given figure based on the Loop's law. Again, we are going to apply the Loop's law for this circuit also. Again, you can find two individual circuits are there, all are arranged in the parallel manner, and two batteries are connected, three resistors are connected in this circuit. Let us find out how this is used to obey Loop's law. First, we are going to make a loop of ACDBA. A, C, D, B, A. So this is the first loop we are considering. For this first loop, directly we are going to write reverse direction is possible for this one. Voltage for this battery is taken as minus V2. And here potential difference for this resistor is given by as I2 R2. And for R1 resistor, it will be taken as a minus R1 I1. And the potential for this this battery is given as a V1 plus V1. So algebraic sum of all these can be taken as 0. So that Loop's law got verified for this loop. This circuit got clearly verified. Now move on to another one. EFDCE. EFDCE. So this loop was taken and starting from E point. Now how many batteries are there? Only one battery. How many resistors are there? Two resistors are there. Now let us apply Loop's law here. Here, what is the, for this R3 resistor, that potential difference is given as minus I1 plus I2 into R3 will be taken. Minus I1 plus I2 into R3 will be taken. And for this second resistor R2, the value will become I2 R2. And for this battery, the value will be V2. Now, algebraic sum of all these will become 0. Hence, for this circuit starting from E point to C point will again verified by the Loop's law. For second circuit also we got verified. Now let us apply third loop. Starting from E again. E was taken, F was taken, B, A, E. Big sphere taken into the consideration. In this big sphere, let us assume how many batteries are there? Only one battery. How many resistors are there? R3 resistor, R1 resistor. We have to find out the potential difference for one battery, two resistors. Let us find out here. For this R3 resistor, the value remains same, just like above. It will be minus I1 plus I2 into R3. And for this R1 resistor, the value will be I1 into R1. And for this battery, the value will be plus V1. So the algebraic sum will become 0. This is the third loop we are assuming starting from E point to A point. Now, going with the example number 6, another circuit was provided to you. And first, before going to solve the entire problem, here, instead of V1, V2, there are direct voltages, direct resistance values are given to us. So numerical values are provided. Just we have to introduce all the values so that whether it is becoming 0 or not, it is very clear to understand. Instead of V1, V2, whether it may be correct or not, we don't know. Just we are assuming V1 value and all these are compensated and it is becoming 0, just it is the hypothesis. If you are taking numerals, then it will be obvious to find out whether it is becoming 0 or not. Let us find out how many batteries are there? 2 batteries. How many resistors are there? 3 resistors. And the loop points are, this is one sphere, this is one sphere, and the entire sphere is also taken into the consideration. Now let us see. Find the electrical current drawn in the figure 30 from the battery, and the entire EMF of the cell is taken as 12 volts of current. So this circuit is able to generate 12 volts of potential difference. Now, let I is equal to I1 plus I2. I, that is the strength of current, is given as a combination of I1 plus I2. Current drawn EMF will be EMF of the cell. Electromotive force will be taken as a 12 volts from the figure E. So here it depicts 12 volts of current, and using Loops law, DABCD circuit was taken. Where is the sphere? Sphere started from the pointer D. D to A. Where is A pointer? Here. D to A, B, C, and D. This is sphere we are going to consider. So when we are taking this sphere into the consideration, how many batteries are there? 2 batteries are there. How many resistors are there? 2 resistors are there. All these values taken into the consideration. Now let us apply first battery. What is the first battery? This one, and whose value is 12 volts. This is a battery whose voltage is 12 volts. Second battery voltage is 5 volts, right? So, but the direction of flow is different for this one and this one, so that both the batteries are having opposite sign conventions. And resistor 1, resistor 2 was considered. Resistor 1 value will be I1 plus I2. Resistor 2 value will be I1 itself. I1 itself, and whose resistance is given as 2. So it will become 3 into I1 plus I2. And for this resistor, it will become battery voltage difference. And minus 5. This is second battery voltage difference. 2I1. Why it is taken as 2I1? Because resistance is 2 ohms, and the strength of current is I1. Now, if you are taking algebraic sum of all these, obviously it will become 0. Hence, Loops law got verified for this loop. Which loop we are considering? D, A, B, C, D. This loop was taken into the consideration. It is consisting 2 batteries and 2 resistors, whose potential difference is measured with the 2 batteries and 2 resistors. One battery voltage is 12, another battery voltage is 5. One resistor voltage difference is 3 into I1 plus I2. Second resistor will be 2 into I1. All these taken into algebraic sum, ultimate value will become 0. Now let us consider another loop DA. From again we are starting with the point D and A, DF, DAF, ED. This loop, second loop, was taken into the consideration. Now let us see how many resistors, how many batteries are there in the second loop. Only one battery is there, 2 resistors are there. The battery voltage will be 12. Resistor 1 voltage will be 3 into I1 plus I2. Resistor 2 voltage will be 4 into, this will be 4 into I1 plus I2. This is the condition, right? So when we are applying this one, 4 into I2 taken into the consideration, we are going to apply the Loops law. Algebraic sum will become minus 3 into I1 plus I2 plus 12 minus 4 into I2 is equal to 0. So for this second loop starting from D to E point, for this also Loops law got verified because all 0. Now these two are the conditions. This is the first loop, this loop. Now we are going to solving the equation A and B. A and B now going to be taken into the consideration. We get I1 is equal to 0.5 amperes. Strength of the current, I1 value is given here 0.5. I2 value is given as 1.5 amperes. Total current is equal to how much? I is equal to I1 plus I2. Just now they mentioned I is equal to I1 plus I2 in the starting step only. Now we are going to take the sum of these to 0.5 plus 1.5. It will become 2 amperes. Strength of current is 2 amperes. So in this way, problem got solved and got the strength of the current and also potential difference, how the Loop's law got verified for individual circuits taken into the consideration. Here in this session, we clearly mentioned and extended with the different examples for Kirchhoff laws, which is subcategorized into two laws. One is the junction law, second is the Loop's law. Junction law said that extent of current which is depositing towards the central junction exactly is equal to extent of power which dispersed from the central point. That is called the junction law. And the Loop's law is nothing but algebraic sum of the individual potential differences generated in the individual loops will become ultimately zero. That is called Loop's law. By taking various circuits into the consideration, we got solved the numerous number of problems which are verifying the Loop's law and all the algebraic sum becoming zero. Hope this session will be helpful for your preparation. Thank you very much for your consistent listening. Thank you one and all.